Hey, listeners, do you ever feel a bit confused about how to be both selfless while practicing self care? Or do you have guilt no matter if you're doing one or the other and wishing there was a better console on how to balance the two wisely without getting caught up in unhelpful pop psychology? Today, we're going to explore this frustrating paradox so we can ditch the shame and flourish. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important, unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy, the podcast dedicated to helping parents improve their mental health, wellness, and life fulfillment. I'm your host, Kendra Nielsen, and today we're discussing a topic that resonates with many overwhelmed parents and spouses, which is finding balance between selflessness and self-care. This is a big paradox that I've been thinking about quite a bit because it comes up in a lot of my sessions since I primarily work with a faith-based demographic. We have to explore this quite a bit, and I needed to have a deeper understanding of what this was and why it pops up. So let's talk about it. Do you remember that scripture that talks about charity seeketh not her own? How can we apply this wisdom without losing our sense of self? We're going to discuss that delicate balance between nurturing our gifts and avoiding that codependency or that anxious attachment to our families when we are too selfless. There's this delicate line between the two. Garth Brooks said this: "The greatest conflicts are not between two people, but between one person and himself." Let's talk about what it looks like to be too self-focused or too family-focused and see if any of these things resonate with you. All right, the signs of being too self-focused. You're constantly prioritizing personal needs over family responsibilities. You find it difficult to empathize with family members' emotions or experiences. You feel resentful when you're asked to contribute to family life. You risk strained relationships with spouse and children, missed opportunities for meaningful family connections, potential for narcissistic tendencies to develop. That's a big one that I see with clients. And here are some signs of being too family focused: neglecting personal hobbies, interests, and self care. Do you notice that in yourself? Difficulty saying no to family requests, even when you're feeling overwhelmed. Losing touch with personal identity outside of family roles. Do you know who you are outside of your family roles? And here are some of the risks of being too family focused: burnt out and emotional exhaustion, resentful towards family members, and loss of personal growth and fulfillment. All right, now let's talk about the benefits of a healthy balance. These are ways you can identify if you have that healthy balance. You have the ability to set and maintain boundaries. You're feeling both fulfilled in your personal and your family life. Improved mental health and reduced stress. Greater sense of personal identity and purpose. Enhanced creativity and passion for life. And then these are benefits for a parent. Increased patience and empathy with your children. More energy and enthusiasm for family activities. Better able to handle parenting challenges. And here are some family benefits: stronger, more authentic relationship. Children learn that healthy balance and that self-care, a more joyful and harmonious home environment. And then there's also benefits for marriage, and those are improved communication and mutual understanding, shared responsibility and support for each other's needs, and renewed passion and connection as individuals. And I'd even say that deeper connection, that deeper emotional and physical intimacy. Audre Lorde said this: caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. I love how she said self-preservation because it really is, right? And I like this one too. It says, an empty lantern provides no light. Self-care is the fuel that allows your light to shine brightly. And that is unknown, but I do love that. So how do we do it? Sounds like it would be simple, but it really isn't. It feels elusive, doesn't it? How do we balance that self-care with that selflessness? It is this constant journey of readjustments. But these concepts don't have to contradict each other. They really do complement each other and remind us to seek that balance. We all need those constant shame-free readjustments and course corrections, and that is normal and healthy. So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not getting self-care, or man, sometimes I just feel a little too selfish, you are not alone. We are all trying to course correct as we go. And if you're not trying to course correct, you may have some narcissistic tendencies that you might need a therapist to help you work through. Or you might need help building that confidence and understanding where to start to improve that self-care and finding out who you are again beyond your roles. Here are some quick self-assessment tips. You can do a daily check-in. Ask yourself, am I meeting both my needs and my family's needs today? That is important. You do matter. And then there's a simple energy audit. Notice where you're spending most of your emotional and physical energy. Like sometimes it might not be with your family. It might be something else, like with the dishes or with your job, whatever it is. Just notice where that energy is going, and it might indicate where that course correction is needed. And then there's values alignment. Just reflect on whether your actions align with your personal and family values. Yes, I value family very much, but if I'm working too much, that might not be reflecting what I value. Or it could be, I very much value mental health and wellness, but I am not focusing on improving my own mental health and wellness and course correcting so I can improve that. So how do we become our higher self? How do we get that balance? We can cultivate that self-awareness through education, through things like this podcast episode, whatever it takes for you to find that greater balance. Like a lot of my clients like to order books off of Amazon when it comes to workbooks, like how to improve my self-care, or there's so many different workbooks out there, and they just break it up day by day and do little exercises to remind themselves to take care of themselves. Or there's even planners that include that in there where self-care is very much the focus of it, or wellness planners or something like that. Just anything you can do to make those tiny little choices throughout the day that will improve that balance, whatever way that might be. When we balance that selflessness and that self-care, that allows for a more authentic generosity and love for our family members. Like I know when I started doing book clubs more regularly and getting out of the house instead of just sitting in that guilt if I ever wanted to, I started to be much less resentful, and I started enjoying parenting much more when I started to take care of myself after neglecting myself for so long. Now, again, that can be a balance. Sometimes I might course correct too much and go the other side. So know that happens and that's okay. And what can you do next to achieve that greater balance? Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Now, that is true. That doesn't have to contradict those things that I'm saying. And it is important to not do it so much that you forget that you matter as well. And I've talked about that. Actually, it was Jennifer Finlayson Fife that talks about that relationship, that one up, one down relationship. I'm going to give you a quick story. I'm going to call her Sarah, one of my clients. So she's a mom of 3, and she realized that she'd become way too family focused when she found that she was constantly exhausted and resentful. A lot of my clients feel this way. She dedicated 15 minutes each day to reading just by herself. This is something that was a long neglected passion of hers. And this simple act of self-care really did rejuvenate her just enough to help her feel more patient with her kids and more connected with her spouse. And she found that as she did that small thing each day without that shame, she was better able to carry out her family responsibilities with that genuine joy and that enthusiasm for something that was quite small. And so she did build on that and she started to change that narrative that she had about how she was bad if she didn't do it, or she was incapable, or she was going to upset her spouse, or something like that. We challenged those narratives and changed that story, especially when she got feedback from other people that, like, no, this is good. I think you should do this. Like, we all like to be the martyr. We all like to overdo things to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, but really it just does the opposite. The less time we take for ourselves, oftentimes the more resentful and angry we are, and it doesn't help anything. Like, everyone's, no, please take some time for yourself because you're being irrational and mean and impatient. And I need you to fill your tank because it's affecting our family dynamic. And that is often the truth of it. So, what are the big key takeaways from today so you can apply them to your lives? Because if you're not applying them, it doesn't really matter. There is a balance between selflessness and self care for personal and family life, but it takes some tiny incremental changes. You can course correct with some self assessments that I mentioned in here. When you course correct, this balance benefits not only you, my friends, but very much your marriage and your parenting and even your friendships. When you model this healthy behavior, this helps everybody, especially your children. My friends, please remember that this is a journey. It is going to take some time, so be patient with yourself. But when you make those small adjustments, celebrate those wins and that progress along the way. And your family will often reinforce how they are supportive and they appreciate that you are filling your tank because it improves life for everybody. And then it can be something that you all can just start to do more often so that you can show up to be more selfless without that resentment and that anger. All right, my friends, I hope this helps. I hope you lean in and you take that extra step to balancing that selflessness and that self-care in your own life so you can have more fulfillment personally and in family life. Don't forget to check out our courses. Those are so affordable, flexible. They're online courses. They're amazing, but go check out all the details on fulfillmenttherapy.org. If you just need a little more structure, something more extra accountability, check that out. Until next time, this is Fulfillment Therapy wishing you a balanced and fulfilling life. My friends, I'll see you back here in just a few days. On Mondays and Thursdays, we always have new episodes. Until then. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.